Hello everybody. So this video is coming to you from Second Life. This is my land in Second Life, and although not really related to a machine shop channel, I'm making this video because of a number of reasons which we'll get into shortly here. But just a brief explanation of Second Life. It's a virtual world. I've been in it since 2003. Did I just say that? And I've been in and out. And, maybe look up some videos on what Second Life is. It's different for everybody. Interruptions. Second Life is different for everybody. And it's kind of an odd place. Some people get really wrapped up into it. And for me, it's more of a creative space. With PTSD, I've actually found it kind of relaxing and soothing to come in here from time to time and just do my own thing. So this is my avatar right here. That's what I look like in Second Life. Of course, I don't look anything like that in the real world. And this is my land. There's two parcels here. There's this parcel here, which is largely open, and then there's this parcel back here, and this back here is a motorcycle museum, which I've operated here in Second Life for the past 3 years now. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I'm going to be closing it down, and I'm doing that because all of this land costs me money, and it's because of my real life shop that I need to close this for a while. But hopefully next year I will be able to come back and get this going again, but we'll see. But for right now, where I'm at with my shop, I really have to focus all of my efforts on the shop, all of my money on the shop. There's still a few things I need. There's some tooling I need to get for the lathe still. I need to get new inserts to cut aluminum, which I don't have. I need a new parting blade, preferably one under 2 millimeters thick. The thinner I can cut my part off, the better, because material is important now. So whatever I waste, that's money spent. And I only get so many pieces per length of aluminum, and I need to get out as many pieces as I can out of that length of aluminum in order to make that aluminum worthwhile. And I just spent $700 on a 6-foot piece of aluminum. I still have to get anodizing supplies, which is going to be about $500. I need a bullnose live center for the lathe, and I don't know how much that's going to be, probably a couple hundred. And I need to make a fixture to hold the part for finishing. I still need a cutoff saw, because the one I bought from that guy is no good, and that's kind of irritating me right now. And I need to get a laser engraver, and that's going to be about $3,000. On top of, I need to pay my credit card debt off. So I have quite a task ahead of me right now. The laser printer is at the very forefront of my stress levels. And as much as my heart is into this museum here, the shop in real life has to come first. And so this is kind of hard for me. Some of you might understand, some of you may not. If you don't understand, I really don't care. Live your life how you want. I live mine how I want. In any case, this is going to be a tour of what I have here, and then the link to this is going to go in his profile so that other people, when they come back and see that the museum's gone, at least there will be a video that they can watch that'll give them a virtual tour on YouTube at least. So, as I said, this is my land right here. And yes, in Second Life you can fly. Isn't that great? So this area here is primarily for events. That's why it's pretty much opened up. And typically, bike clubs come in here and have events. And, the one thing about Second Life is there's a lot of biker clubs and quote unquote bikers, but, they're all fakes. They're all people that wish they could be bikers. They're all people that wish they could, be in a real life club. I'm not in any club in Second Life. I don't need to be. And as you can see, he's not done up as any sort of biker. He's just is what he is. I'm not trying to be anything special here. So now this building I built in Second Life, and I bought the textures. They're mapped textures, so they have dimension to them. And I sell this building on the marketplace. So you can kind of see the reflection that's from the textures, the 3D type textures. Same thing with the stone here. You can kind of see some three-dimensional stuff going on. And this is a trick they do in video games. Now these things are made of prims. If I select that, all these things are what's called primitives, or prims for short. And these columns are prims. They're just flat rectangles. And in video games, everything is made of as simply as possible. Now, you could make a prim with all this texture on it, but it's going to have so much data that it's going to bog down the game. Like this sidewalk over here, that's all in the image. If that was built into the prim, it would be data heavy. So they get around that by the image maps and putting the dimensional textures. Same thing with the bricks. You can see here, looks dimensional there, the bricks. And it's a lot less data heavy. So this is a shop that I built. You can open and close the door. Vintage gas pumps, gas island. And like I said, I sell this shop. Most of what you see here on the walls comes with the shop. You don't get the motorcycle and the Mustang, unfortunately. But like the toolbox, the couch, the carpet, not that chair, but all this other stuff comes with it. And then show you something else here. If I can wonder if something happened to my doors. These doors are supposed to close. Oh, there they go. Okay, I think you get sound in there now. I think I had the sound off. So that's the doors. Whoever built this Mustang did an amazing job. You usually don't find stuff this crafted with such detail. But that is really, really nice detail in there. Not the best I've seen. And you know, most of the stuff made in Second Life are functioning cars. To get one that's being repaired like this, when I saw this, I contacted the creator, and he was pretty nice and got me hooked up with this, and it's like perfect in this shop. And most of these, like this bike, you can ride this stuff. It's scripted, so you can drive it around. Now, most people in Second Life don't want an old Ford Country Squire station wagon, but I grew up in this car, so here it is, and I was like blown away when I seen it here. So I had to get it, and of course, I used to ride right back there when I was a kid. In those there rumble seats. Yeah, and this was not a pleasant place to ride sometimes because the mufflers are under here and this thing would get really hot. But and when I was older, I had a Camaro just like this, a 1970 and a half Camaro. Of course, it wasn't hot rodded like this, but I miss that car and I wish I had it again. Paid $400 for it, and now this car with no engine and trans and a rusted body and no interior will cost you anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000. That's how much value these cars have. It's not starting. But these are scripted, so you can open the doors and stuff. You can open the trunk. It's pretty neat. And here we got a Black Hawk helicopter and a Leopard 2 tank. Now, even though I have a motorcycle museum, I do have some vehicles that are notable. And again, anybody from the 70s will recognize this car from Starsky and Hutch, which was a show I used to watch. And of course, we got a Baja Herbie the Love Bug. And probably one of the most famous cars in the world is the General Lee from the Dukes of Hazzard. Yep. Nice, awesome car. And this car is from James Bond. It's the sub car. Can go underwater. Roger Moore drove this. Of course, where would we be without this car right here? Of course, we all know the Batmobile. All right, so as the sign says, this is the Second Life Motorcycle Museum. I designed that sign. And, you know, I like motorcycles and stuff, and kind of got inspired from Dale's Wheels Through Time. And what all the motorcycles in here are created by people like me who come into Second Life. The people who put the virtual world up, they have not made any of this. They just provide a blank canvas, and the rest is up to you. All of what you've seen so far is created by other people on their computers with programs like Blender. And so this is the inside of my motorcycle museum. And I own all of these bikes. None of them are on loan. This is my personal bike right here. Of course, my name is Chains in Second Life, and this bike is a chain reaction, so it just kind of fits. So you got my name there on the tank. So this is the colors to one of the clubs in Second Life. I designed these colors for that club, and I put it all together, and I think I did a pretty good job. There were probably 8 or 9 iterations of this before we settled on this version right here. Yeah, this is like a little putt-putt bike with a little 50cc motor in it, which I thought was pretty funny. You can hear the sounds. It's a Sportster type bike. This is one of the nicer bikes. Of course, this bike has a supercharger on it. This is a panhead with dual carburetors, short pipes. This would be like the bikes you'd see in the 60s and 70s. Twisted down tube. Now what you've seen there were the Prims rezzing. It's kind of hard to explain, but when you go back a distance, things will de-res, and it's like that depending on your graphics settings. But you see, we got Eddie Van Halen's guitar, we got Angus Young's guitar, and we got Alex Lifeson's guitar, or any number of other musicians, and a series of sport bikes. You can see the yellow one, how it's de-resing, and some of these bikes, the LODs are wrong, and so they do what you're seeing there, but when you get closer, they'll pop back in. That's why the bikes kind of disappear and come back. It's just a part of the game engine. There's a lot of data on these builds and a lot of detail. Here we go with some more custom bikes. This is a Triumph. And excuse me, the knobbies, that's a thing. We used to find those on on bikes back then because they'd be off-road, you know, going behind behind cities into the mountains and lakes and trails and stuff like that. That was always, you know, if you had smooth tires, you're going to slip and slide. That's a flathead right there. I guess I can't get in there. That there is a picture of my dad at the grave of Chief Joseph. And over here, that's a picture of the museum before the expansion. And so that over there is the expansion. Because I've got too many bikes. And here we've got dirt bikes. And this right here is probably one of the best looking dirt bike builds I've seen here. It's pretty well done. It's pretty impressive. And some bare bones engines and frame. That's a knucklehead engine. Some BMW cross bikes. At least one of them's a BMW. I don't know what these others are. And here we have some more bikes. Again, these are all built by people. This is an Indian, U.S. Army, World War twice. That's a Bren carrier. Not really a motorcycle, but I thought it was interesting. Here's another Indian. And here we have some German BMW sidecars, World War II. This here is a Russian motorcycle, World War II, and you can see it's got the red commie star on there. There's a double engine motorcycle and another double engine motorcycle. Not very many drag bikes in Second Life, but this is two of them. This one's a pretty nice one. You've seen another one like this in the shop outside. And a staging tree. That there is my best friend John. We were in an accident when we were 16 and he was killed in the accident. It's the only picture of him that I've got, taken from the high school yearbook. And of course, if anybody has watched any biker movies, you should recognize these bikes. And where would we be without the old Schwinn Stingrays? I had a red one when I was a kid. And here's some old bikes, an Indian, a couple Indians, a V-twin, an inline Indian. I don't know what this one is. Here's a Christmas bike. Usually put this out on a Christmas display. Not many vintage bikes in here, which I'd like to see change, but these are pretty much the best of the vintage bikes. I really wish the creators in here would focus on making more. And over here is a little shop area for working on the bikes. That's actually the welder I have in real life. Now up here is a special area, and the reason being is because these two builders of this group of bikes and this group of bikes are pretty much responsible for setting the tone of motorcycles in Second Life. They were trailblazers. Before these guys, the motorcycles were just something to be desired, and some of them might have looked nice, but they were incredibly prim heavy, and they were very difficult to deal with. So these were among the first right here, and you could just get on these and ride. They were very simple, 35 prims, really good scripting. Now this is probably goes back, what, 2007, 2008, and back then in Second Life, these were top of the line right here. You couldn't get anything better than this. They don't look like much now, but everybody had these. Everybody wanted them. And this was the HDCC. That was the showroom floor, and this was their sim. This was the main hangout area. And this is going back to about 2008. That was the name of the sim. Now in Second Life, things are changed slightly so that there's no copyright infringement. So that's why it was called Little Slurgis instead of Sturgis. But make no mistake, this was the most popular place around, and really sad when it closed down. Now these are his new bikes as of recently, and you can see they're much more up to date, a lot better looking. A lot of it's, thankfully because of mesh. Okay, if anybody knows their aircraft engines. There's a dragster engine. And then the competition to the guy over there was this guy here. That was his showroom, which is also closed down. And these are some of his early bikes. There's a mix here. These are all some of the early bikes. And they're mixed in with some of the newer bikes. So they have a special place up here because they had a huge impact on Second Life motorcycles. There's a lot of builders now, and a lot of people don't even really know too much about these guys. There's a whole new generation in Second Life now. It's kind of too bad. And these are other bikes that he created that aren't on display. And this was the inside of his showroom. Not the greatest picture, but he had a lot of stuff. So this bike here is the only motorcycle in Second Life that was actually built by a real life motorcycle builder, and that was Orange County Choppers. So this is a genuine Orange County Choppers motorcycle in Second Life, and it was built in partnership with Intel. And OCC for a while had a sim in Second Life. Of course, it didn't last long. I don't think they really understood what they should be doing with their sim, and they weren't really invested in it, and it closed down. Probably lasted 6 months, maybe a year. But you would go there and you could build this bike, and you could actually get it for free. And it's one of those bikes that was really wonky to drive and kind of funky with the way it operated. And again, these bikes kind of put these bikes away, but yeah, this bike is the only bike in Second Life, and it was that was built by a real life motorcycle company, and that's Orange County Choppers. And of course, this was when Orange County Choppers had the old building, and that's what they're building there, is it was the old building. And then next to the Orange County Choppers sim, there was an Intel sim. And at that time, a lot of corporations were coming into Second Life because they thought it was the next big thing, and didn't really pan out for them. NASA had a sim for a long time. I think they outlasted all the corporations by a number of years. And they had, the rockets and space shuttles and all that. It was a really cool sim. Alright, so there we go. And we have some police motorcycles. Couldn't leave the bacon out of the picture. And of course we got a famous prototype bike here with the Dodge Viper V12 engine. This is a functional bike that you can ride. These are cafe style racers. And a Moto Guzzi. It's got the Harley V-Rod. Yamaha. Another Triumph. Okay, so this motorcycle, I was really blown away when I saw this in Second Life, because it's not one of those bikes you would expect to see. It's a Jawa, and not many people know about Jawas. You typically find these bikes in Eastern Europe and in South America. They were a commie bike. They were built in Czechoslovakia. And some of these were turned into racers. This is a real life picture of one. And these are real life ads from the bike. And no, it's not a Jawa from Star Wars. And as far as commie bikes go, this is probably the most epic, most successful motorcycle ever made in the Eastern Bloc. And the reason it's important to me is because my dad had one. He was stationed in Panama in the Army, and he picked up one there, and I got a picture of him, and I'll post it up sometime for everyone to see. So okay, so yeah, that is a Jewish Hell's Angel at the wall. And he's praying. So there you go. Now this here is the electric Harley Davidson. And this is another electric bike of some sort. And of course we couldn't leave these guys out. A lot. This is really popular here in the US as well as Britain. These scooters, Vespas. This is a commie Vespa built in commie land. This here, I don't know what that is. It's a bike that you find in Japan, but this specific thing here, this is actually a thing here in Japan. A lot of the restaurants, they pick up their supplies on little mopeds like this, and they put them in the little trunk in back, and they've got all kinds of different little setups going on. I don't know if that opens up or not. No. And another really nicely done Harley Davidson. And yeah, it's raining here. These are popular. I think these are Southeast Asian builds. You can see the quality and workmanship from the early bikes to what they are now. It's like night and day. It's a Ninja, very famous motorcycle. Yes, that bike is on its side, and that is poop on there. And so I had a couple of this guy's motorcycles on display, and I had contacted him about them, and he just shot back a really snotty ass, nasty email and called me all kinds of names and whatnot. And I was like, oh, okay, well, hey, I have a motorcycle museum, and your bikes were on display here. I'll go ahead and take them off. And I didn't get no more. I didn't get no more of his bikes. And I figured I'd at least put this one out. So that's how it got displayed, with some doo-doo on it. On the Goldwing. You know, and these bikes in the 60s and 70s were actually really good motorcycles, and I actually had one like this, and I'm glad to see that somebody took the time to make one of these in Second Life, because a lot of people are after the super glam bikes, you know. But that's the museum, as it were. Oh, I missed these bikes. These are the quads. Now, this quad was made by one of the original guys. I applied my camouflage to it. Not very many quad builds in Second Life, which is too bad. But I got the nicest ones that I could. So that's it. This is the expansion part of this building. Originally, everything was in here. It was just kind of crammed in, and adding this expansion helped spread things out a bit, gave me a lot more room. And you can see I put a lot of work into this and theming it out and stuff. This guy is a famous biker. He died in '91. His name is Slave Louie. He was a legendary Hell's Angel. So there it is, folks. That's the tour. And I will be dismantling this after I get off the video. just show you one other thing about Second Life here real quick. So this is the ground level. This is a sim. Let's let everything res up here real quick. There we go. And we're in the palm trees. So this half is all mine. You can see a dividing line, but that's mine as well, where the yacht is. Now this is somebody else's half over here. And they've kind of done a cyberpunk type thing. They did an okay job. And I don't know what the heck's going on with that. Somebody else's deal. But this is mine. That's my environment. My little bridge. And my little chair. And I usually will sit on this chair and just kind of look out. And kind of can see why it's relaxing for the PTSD and stuff. And this is a yacht someone built. So, I mean, this is all somebody's talent, you know. I'm pretty talented. I'll never have anything like this in real life, but you can have something like it here. Anyway, not going to get too much into that. So, yeah, that's it. Kind of bums me out to have to do this because, I mean, I don't make money on this. I spend money on it, but I am into the motorcycles. I like it. And that's why I did it. So maybe next year we can redo it. But for now, like I said, I got to focus on my shop and spend my money there. So anyway, after this, I will be dismantling this and returning the land to the owner and saying goodbye to Second Life for the next year. All right, folks, you have a good one, and we'll see you on the next video.